Shoemaker, TriState football here at Moeller High School with head coach Mark Elder. And Mark starts his second year. And Mark, let's just start with that. Start from there. Tell us, assess the program from where it was when you took it over to where you are now, and how pleased are you with the progress?
Yeah, I think we're taking strides forward for sure. Feel that there's a lot more understanding of what we're looking for from a culture standpoint, from a practice standpoint, and obviously a schematic standpoint as well. So I think we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we were. We still have a long ways to go to where we want to get to, but really pleased with the progress thus far.
And let's talk a little bit about the offense in 2021. What do you got coming back? What do you like about these guys?
Well, I'll talk about our offensive line to start off with, because we have all new starters in there at that group. We've got one total returning start at the offensive line, so we've got a lot of new fresh faces. Really feel like Coach Blum has done a great job. Coach Digman, they've gotten those guys playing together well. There's a lot of competition for time there, and competition always brings out the best in people. So even though that's a huge question mark for us, I feel like we're going to have a solid group there at the offensive line. Then at the skill positions, it's kind of the opposite of that. We've got a ton of experience coming back. Noah Gesselbrock started the latter half of the year last year, so he's got starts under his belt. He's had a great summer and a great fall camp thus far. We've got 3 sophomores that are behind him, pushing him, with Van and Luke and Robinson. All 3 of those guys have had a good camp as well. At the running back spot, we've got 3 guys that have all played for us, which is great. Gabe Goins, a rising senior that's been playing for a couple years for us. Alec Weeder is a rising junior, and he played a lot of special teams, played a little bit of slot last year. He's played a little bit of running back, but he's had a great camp and a great first scrimmage. And Jordan Marshall, the guy that was a freshman last year that played exclusively varsity, is a real talent, and we're expecting big things out of that position. Josh Caddis is back at tight end. He was really good for us a year ago, and we're excited about the progress that he's made this offseason as well. And then Eli Duffy is a rising sophomore, and he's already proving himself that he's somebody that we can rely upon, and I think he'll be a good football player for us this year and in the future. Ton of experience at receiver back. We've got a bunch of guys that have started ball games. We got Brandon White, who was out quite a bit last year because of injury. He's back and doing really, really well. Had a fantastic track season. We all know that he can fly. Tennell, rising junior, had the most catches a year ago, and he's back and doing the same things and more than what he did a year ago. Jared Merck, Kurt Thompson last year were starters for us on the outside. Those guys are back. Ryan Meckley, a couple other guys that are in the mix there as well, but a ton of experience back. I feel like that group has progressed and is more advanced than a year ago.
On defense, you gave up 30 points a game last year. What are you guys going to do to try to rectify that situation this fall? And talk a little bit about the guys on that side of the ball.
Yeah, we've got a lot of experience coming back there as well. Just go from the front end to back. So a lot of experience at the defensive line. Jack Garrett was an all-conference player, played a lot for the last 2 years. He's back. Chase Brown is again a guy that's played a lot the last 2 years. Both those guys are rising seniors, and expecting a bunch out of those guys. Ethan Coe is a senior that's played a lot of different positions for us and is finding a home there at defensive end. Landon Jacon Duffy is a rising senior, and again, he's played a lot of different positions, but has also found a home there at defensive end. So we've got a good, solid senior group there, which we're excited about. Brandon Martins played a decent amount of varsity football for a sophomore last year as a rising junior, so I'm excited about that. Then we've got some Peyton Wilp in there. We've got a couple sophomores that are competing for some time there at the defensive line. That'll be new to varsity, but a ton of experience and a ton of veteran guys there. 2 inside guys, Ivan Anderson, who was an all-conference player a year ago. He's had a really nice camp. And then Joe Giannetti, who played a ton last year, was a varsity-only guy and split time there at the mic. Those guys are back. We're still ironing out who's going to be the backups at those spots. Out at our Sam Nichols spot, We've got Jack Sellers, who's a rising senior, Rashad Glenn, who's a rising junior. Both of those guys have limited amount of varsity, but they've had a good camp thus far. Then in our back end, we've got a good amount of experience there. So Matt Saliga's, he's back from a year ago, played a ton. We kind of had three safeties that were in the mix there a year ago, him being one of those three. Lamont Cox has had a really good camp. He switched over from a quarterback position, very, very athletic, and has picked it up well. Then a variety of guys at the corner positions. Colin Berry was a starter for us, rotated in quite a bit last year. He's at one of those spots. Kylie Willis is in there as well. Mitch McNulty's a guy that's played safety, played corner for us. Isaiah Summerlin is switching over from wide receiver, playing a little bit of safety for us as well. Cap Davis is a very, very talented guy. So we got a bunch of guys there at the defensive back position that we're certainly excited about, and Petticore is also a rising senior, and he's had a really good camp. So feel really good about the guys. There's a lot more experience back for this year than what we had maybe a year ago. And second year in the system, I think that we're picking it up quite a bit better.
There you go. That's Mark Elder, the head coach, breaking down his Moeller Crusaders.